Durag Diaries. Tottenham 1, Villarreal 0, and it's a winning start to the Champions League campaign. The Thomas Frank engine continues on, but just barely this time. Very barely. It seemed like we wobbled, we were shaking on the rails, but we managed to stay on track. And 3 points in our lead to potentially get into this top 8 of the Champions League. Now, look, I think we definitely have to address this was not a great performance. It wasn't. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It wasn't a pretty performance. It wasn't an all-out attacking display. And quite literally, it's been very reminiscent of our previous games in the lack of creativity up top. Now, I do think there's a few things that Ange could potentially... Yo, see? Hey, that's crazy. See, it's still not even been that long. Man said I've got that guy's name in my mouth. There's a few things that... See, because I'm getting negative already, I'm already starting to think about that man. Negativity seeps in, and the first person that comes in my head, I'm so used to it. But no, Thomas Frank definitely needs to address some of these issues up top. And he talked about it in his post-match interview. He did say probably offensively is where we're struggling more than anything at this moment in time. I do feel like playing out from the back. Let's start off there with the lineup that we chose today. Very reminiscent of that one at West Ham. Only one change being Paulinho out, Bentancur in, which I thought would help at the start of the game. And it did. It helped with our build-up from the back, progressing the ball, breaking through the lines. But the one problem we did have was very similar to the same setup in that Bournemouth game where Sarr and Bergvall this time were bombing so far forward that the gap between Bentancur and them made it hard to progress that ball. Now, in the first half, there was some pretty decent combinations. And as he said, he set up in that way to try press them and create those issues for them at the back. And it eventually worked. There was a good bit of pressing football. We won the ball back and we caught them in the counter transition for that first goal, where good little bit of play down the line for Bergvall, who puts it across goal. And it's just an absolute... It's a stinker. It's an absolute stinker from the goalkeeper. There's no other way to explain it. Really, really poor. I was flabbergasted myself, just like everyone would have been in the stadium. Couldn't have celebrated it. But look, sometimes you got to be lucky and you got to create your own luck. And that's exactly what we done in this situation. Was a bit lucky 3 minutes into the game. But what that left us to do was give us a little bit of ease throughout the game to know that we've got that goal. We've got that cushion. Now we don't have to press too much. We don't have to be too risky in the way that we was playing. I do feel like in that first half, Xavi was the standout player, really bright. A lot of people say you can't play him on that left wing, but as again, Frank highlighted in that game, there just wasn't enough passes in behind to him in that left wing or enough direct balls over the top to create those 1v1 situations. But whenever he did get on the ball in the pockets, really bright, always demanded it. Good few little flicks and tricks. Decent link up with Jed Spence today. Again, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he could combine with Udogie. But at this moment in time, it's hard to drop Jed Spence, man. He is just wrapping up every single winger down that left-hand side. Pepe had nothing to say today, especially in that first half. But look, onwards from there, I do feel like there was a few other good performances. Bergvall, another man of the match performance for him. I don't think, again, it was a prettiest man of the match, but in that number 10 role, he does look a little bit better, a little bit brighter. I did say from a long time, especially last season, naturally, when you saw him at Elfsborg, or sorry, not Elfsborg, it was the team that he... No, so I can't remember the team that we bought him from. But when he was at the team that he was at, he was playing in the deep pockets, similar to how Simons was as a 10. He liked to pick the ball up in the pockets, play it through the lines, and really be progressive with everything that he done. Really positive, always trying to look forward with that ball. And today I feel like he was a bit more off the ball work, causing a bit more problems on the press, getting on the ball, just doing a nice little 1-2s. But I would like to see a different midfield combination in there, just to see how it could work with Xavi in that 10. I think if you give Xavi in that 10 and give him the ability to free roam, you probably have another player like Sarr who could drop in and be a little bit closer to Bentancur, because you can rely on Xavi to create a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of these different combinations and how Frank does set up when we do throw Xavi in the 10. But away from that, Was really impressed with Kudus. Yet again, just I think he's going to be the first name on the team sheet all the time. He's always dangerous down that right-hand side and always causing a problem. But going into the second half, this is where my mindset started to really change because I felt like we was really poor in that first 15 to 20 minutes. Like we couldn't get out of our half. The press was really strong from Villarreal. They were pressing in a 6 at times. They had the 3 players up front, then the 3 midfielders, and we were just helping them out because every single pass was under hit. It was going left. It was going right. I don't know if they watered the pitch too much, and I ain't trying to be the guy that makes excuses, but there was definitely something wrong with these players coming out on the pitch. It might have been that TikTok guy doing Ilay. I don't know. I generally don't know what it was, but it was just a bit messy coming out of that second half, and we never really got into our rhythm. Very stop-start. I know some people are saying Xavi was lucky to walk away without a red card, and he was at, I can't even lie, when Thomas Frank made the sub, I was like, yo, let's get him off the pitch, because the first yellow, cool. I did think it was a bit harsh, but it definitely a yellow. And then a few other challenges that he did get into there, the shoulder-to-shoulder barge and the penalty area, which was really strong. Good challenge from him. But the other one was when it was a 50-50, but their player did win it, and you could question whether that could be a second yellow card. So very lucky for him not to get sent off there. And Kolo Muani, how could we forget? He marked his debut with a grand spanking yellow card in the first couple minutes as well. So not even minutes, first second. I think it took him 9 seconds to get a yellow card from him coming on the pitch. But he did have a debut. Didn't really have much to do. There was one opportunity right at the end of the game in the 92nd minute when Kudus could have laid him through. But I think it was just due to the tiredness of Kudus at that point that his decision-making maybe wasn't on point. And he tried to hold the ball on for a little bit too long, and he ended up under hitting the pass where the defender just cleared it out. Away from that, I think defensively, really solid, really sound. Only gave up a few decent chances, and we did go a bit with the high line at times, and we saw they almost caught us out. Van der Ven, very lucky to make sure that he got on the good right side of the striker in order to get a shoulder to shoulder, because if he did push in the back there, it would have potentially been a red card. So very lucky to walk away with the 1-0 win in this game. I think Frank will learn. I think some of the tactical adaptations we didn't see in this game, but it is his first Champions League game, so he's going to have to get used to it. He's going to have to get used to playing teams of this level, setting up and just knowing that they are going to be a lot tougher than these teams like Brighton and Bournemouth and them, man. And, you know, I'm not trying to disrespect these teams, but this is the Champions League. They have other options. And quite literally, tactically, there's no teams in the Premier League that set up similar to that in that 4-4-2 situation, 4-4-2 formation, apart from the teams on the lower end. And those teams on the lower end don't have the technical players that Villarreal do. I do think that defensively they were really good, though. They did stop us from having a lot of opportunities. Richie didn't really get much much by way of chances. Kudus did put a really good cross into the box, which you would have expected him to finish, but just didn't get it there. And that's something what we expect from Richie quite a lot of the times. He can be good at times, and, you know, sometimes maybe good, sometimes I may be shit. It's just one of those ones with Richie, man. Like, you just got to take the good with the bad. Passion and energy is what he brings to every game. And do you know what? That's what we love. In this game, especially a Champions League one, it's all about putting 100% effort. It's all about walking away with the 3 points and just getting that win. It's the first game of the Champions League campaign. And do you know what? One thing we do have to mention was that Tifo was magnificent. Absolutely beautiful, that Tifo was. Big up to THFC Flags every single time, because they do some magnificent work at Spurs, starting that Tifo from a few days ago, and it looked amazing today. So big up to them for that. And also, I can't even lie, just another thing, I really liked Amazon. Like, I know we say this, but Amazon's coverage of Champions League or just football in general is so much better than Sky, TNT, and all. They had Mark Clattenburg mid-game talking about some of the decisions and how the referees would think and what's going through the mind of VAR whilst the decisions are going on, rather than just having the commentators talk a load of rubbish. We've got a referee's point of view talking to us about the letter of the law. And even he said sometimes it's frustrating, some of the handball decisions that VAR be making. So it's not just us that are mad at the referees. The referees are mad at the referees, bruv. But look, 3 points, a win And look, that's the way I'm gonna leave it. We walk away with a very, very lucky win, but ultimately it's 3 points, man. So I ain't one to complain, you know what I mean? But people, make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Make sure, as you see above my head, road to 5K. You gotta smash the likes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It helps the algorithm and it helps the growth of the channel. Also, there is a hype button now, so you can hype up the video to help it push just that little bit extra. And then away from that, as you can see right next to me over here, we do have Match Bingo, who is now the sponsor of the channel. So scan that QR code, use promo code DRD to get involved, and you can have some fun whilst you're watching these Champions League games. Buy a bingo card, and if you win, you could, if you do get all of your bingos, what do they call? If you tick off everything on your bingo card, you can win a jackpot of up to £500, sometime 1,000. It just depends on what you are betting on specifically. But make sure you do that and you gamble responsibly. 18 and plus, and in the UK only. But away from that, people, it's your boy Durag Diaries, and we are out, man.